A serious case dragging on in the Bahia courts. Journalists deceived vulnerable families by promising to collect cash donations from the public.
During the television program, the gang publicized a PIX key that wasn't for those who needed help. Thus, a large portion of the money went into the pockets of journalists involved in the production, including reporter Marcelo Castro. On Friday, Marcelo tried to legally block the airing of our report.
For almost 2 years, those who were deceived have faced the delays of the justice system and the wait for the money that never arrived. And the trial, which was scheduled for this week, was again postponed for an unusual reason. Forget everything, okay? Forget everything.
A bunch of thieves, a criminal organization, using my story, using my son's illness to benefit themselves, to live in luxury, to buy a car. And he's there as if nothing happened.
A photo that represents longing, pain, and the memory of humiliation.
There's no explanation.
Justelide lost her 17-year-old son, Miguel, 6 months ago, to a neurodegenerative disease. She still lives with the bitter feeling of the exposure the boy was forced to endure during a moment of his mother's despair.
It was very difficult, not because of the care itself, but because of seeing his suffering and not being able to do anything. It's hard to have to watch your son every day lose a function and have to say goodbye to a part of him every day.
Miguel suffered from leukodystrophy, a condition that over the years left him unable to walk. He needed an adapted wheelchair. And without money, Justelide agreed to participate in a report conducted by journalist Marcelo Castro. He was responsible for a segment on the program Balanço, Geral Bahia, in which he asked for donations for difficult cases, but Miguel's mother found it strange when the PIX number announced for donations wasn't hers.
Before going live, he was already saying that they were going to put a PIX code on the screen, which wasn't mine, but it was just for bureaucratic reasons, in case the bank could block it when the donations started coming in.
Months later, it was discovered that the reporter raised our $45,000 in Miguel's name, but only passed on our $10,000 to Jid.
I was a victim of distortion. I was a victim of theft. I felt violated. I felt used. Not only me, but especially my son.
An internal investigation by Record Bahia identified that Marcelo Castro, the program's editor-in-chief Jamerson Beriba, and the operator Lucas Costa Santos, with the help of 9 straw men, deceived the 12 vulnerable families. During the Balanço Geral program, a PIX key was displayed, but the code did not belong to the person who would receive the donations. The key belonged to one of the members of the gang. The money went directly into that account and was then distributed to the group in various ways. Bill payments, credit cards, and deposits to everyone involved. Investigations indicate that this scheme lasted 1 year and 5 months. The reporter and the other defendants chose victims, always, with the same profile. People in financial difficulty who were facing family or health problems and who would hardly investigate the real amounts received in donations. Lucille also had her 21-year-old son exposed on the program. Augusto suffers from complications of hydrocephalus and spinal malformation. He cannot walk. The mother asked for help to get a motorized tricycle to give her son more independence.
It hurts a lot, doesn't it? Seeing others going out, siblings going out, and not being able to go out, not being able to do anything like a young person does, not even to parties, not even anywhere, right? He just stays at home with me or his father, with his father or me.
You suffer.
so much.
It hurts my
Heart.
What bothered Luciliti the most was the reporter's insistence that her son crawl on the floor and that she cry in a forced way, all to elicit public sympathy so he could get a large amount of donations. What she didn't imagine was that most of that money would later be embezzled.
Let's let him crawl. That way there will be more. And as a
Result.
audience, and what did he also tell us to do? Make us cry, because I'm not gonna cry over something I don't see the need for. I'm gonna cry over something that comes as a need.
Marcelo, 3 questions.
Of the $30,000 raised by Marcelo Castro and his partners, only $6,000 were delivered to the family who lived in a very simple house.
The police investigation revealed that the group raised more than $543,000 with the campaigns and allegedly embezzled 75% of that amount. That is more than $407,000. Man, ours. Reporter Marcelo Castro and editor Jamerson were the main beneficiaries of the scheme. According to the police, Marcelo wrote the reports. Jamerson authorized the insertion of third-party PIX Brazilian instant payment system, numbers on the screen, and Lucas recruited families in need of donations and straw men who lend their bank accounts. This week, our team searched for 2 of the people who were used as straw men and who live in the Reynoso community in Salvador. We knocked on the door of Jackson da Silva de Jesus and his cousin Carlos Eduardo de Jesus. Good morning, ma'am. How are you? Is Carlos Eduardo there? No. We found Jackson at the barbershop where he works. He became nervous with the presence of the reporters and said he had been deceived. You know what this PIX payment was for? He told you. You went in without knowing.
It was like he asked me on PX, I read that I was a client, I didn't know.
Then he stated that he couldn't say anything more on the advice of his lawyer and left the barbershop. Maria de Fatima was also a victim of the scheme. She needed help hiring a lawyer to resolve her deceased husband's social security situation. Of the more than $27,000 donated to her, she only received $3,000. Shoshu.
I feel hurt, you know, because we expect things to happen more than we expect them to, right? Because of this, I've had health problems, as many of you can see on my face. Very serious health problems. My knee hurts.
Larissa was another victim of journalist Marcelo Castro. He was robbed alongside her daughter, who has autism spectrum disorder. Larissa was contacted by Marcelo to do a report on the case. The journalist said he wanted to do a fundraising campaign to help the mother, but during the live broadcast, she was prevented from sharing her own piquisquesquisa.
He said, no, we're gonna put one on the television. Then when I was about to give it to him, he said, no, we're going to use a trusted person's code from inside. So when he said that, of course, obviously I accepted. I felt calm.
Here you can see the moment when Marcelo Castro removes the microphone upon realizing that Larissa was about to give the correct donation information and changes the subject.
A lot of money for anyone who wants to help. That's it. 719-925. You know there's someone here who's gonna donate a cell phone to you right now?
That day, donations exceeded $17,000, a value far greater than what was given to Larissa.
It went, sent the PIX payment and sent the proof to me. And when I looked 3,000 and I thought, 3,000? So much repercussions, so many people. And then I stopped like that, people from Sao Paulo. So many people talking to me, look what I sent it privately. Everyone saying, no, I sent it to you, I sent it, look at this amount. But I didn't bring up the subject, I didn't even ask, right?
After discovering the scam, Record Bahia fired Marcelo Castro and Jamerson Bariba for just cause and sued them then. At the time the case gained notoriety, the reporter was enjoying a luxurious vacation in the United States and Dubai, one of the most expensive cities in the world. The Public Prosecutor's Office of Bahia filed charges against Marcelo Castro
Jamerson, Lucas, and the 9 front men in the scheme. The court has already accepted the charges, and the process is now in the instruction phase. All will face charges, including embezzlement, criminal association, and money laundering. The hearings in the Bahia court have already been rescheduled twice. They were scheduled for March and were postponed to this week. Now there has been another postponement due to a lack of space in a courtroom in Salvador. This means another 7 months of anguish and waiting for answers until a new courtroom becomes available. Marcelo Castro, Jamerson, and the other defendants have gained more time before being judged.
When there is a postponement, the practice is to reschedule for the first available date. The reasons for the postponement are documented in the case files, but it is unusual for a case to go more than a year without a hearing being held. So the rule is that any processes involving the interests of children have priority processing.
Why is it taking so long? It's not even a question of value. It's not about value, it's about justice. It's about people whose stories were invaded. Their stories were violated. It wasn't just an exposure of a sad story. It was a shameful exposure.
The judge who will analyze the case said that the defense witnesses for the defendants and the defendants themselves were not interrogated. He also stated that the new postponement of the hearings occurred due to lack of space in the criminal organization's court in Salvador.
Due to the large number of people, it is impossible to hold the hearings in the courtroom here. Approximately 40 people cannot fit in the hearings. They will take place in May of next year. I believe that around 60 days after the end of the instruction phase, after the last hearing, it is likely that a sentence will be handed down.
We sought statements from all the accused, but received no response.
This process, which afflicts society, is a concern everyone shares, and these delays only increase the distress of these people. So, for them, the important thing is that this instruction goes.
Trajusa lied. The fight is for the conviction of the fraudsters, especially to honor her son Miguel, who could have had a much less painful end to his life if she had received all the money that viewers donated to the boy.
I want justice for him because these people who used him to benefit themselves have to pay for what they did, because this is not done to anyone, much less to a child.
What I tell him every day is that I will continue to be here for him.